in our history through war. When the United States entered World War I in April 1917, it had not yet granted citizenship to all Native Americans, and government-run boarding schools were still largely attempting to stamp out their languages and cultures. Nonetheless, several thousand Native Americans enlisted in the armed forces to fight against Germany and the Central Powers. One of the main problems for the Allies was the Germans' ability to listen in on their communications and break their codes, which were generally based either on European languages or mathematical progressions. Sooner after the battle in Oregon Forest began, an American commander happened to overhear two of his Native American soldiers conversing in their language. In a flash, he recognized the military potential of their language, essentially unknown to the Germans, and persuaded his superiors to post a Native American speaker at the various field company headquarters. On October 26, 1918, the Codetalkers were put to use for the first time as a part of the withdrawal of two companies from the front. Having completed this mission without mishap, they then played a major role in the following 2 days. The tide of the battle turned within 24 hours, and within 72 hours, the Allies were on full attack. A captured German later admitted that his side could not make heads or tails of the Codetalkers, and likely brought an early end to the war, thus saving hundreds and thousands of lives. Codetalkers made an even bigger impact during World War II, when the U.S. government specifically recruited Hopi, Comanche, and Navajo members for such work. The Navajo developed the most complex code with over 600 terms for the use of the Pacific Theater, and the opposition is not believed to have been deciphered a single Codetalker message in either World War. The Navajo finally received congressional recognition for the efforts in 2000, whereas the remaining tribes had to wait 8 more years until a bill passed praising them for their dedication and valor. Honoring Native American Codetalkers is long overdue. The bill admitted person to the legislation. A medal ceremony took place in November 2013 in Washington, D.C., with 33 tribes known to have code-talking members in attendance. Just being Hopi Native American I'm very proud of, because I have a lot of background in history when it comes to things like this. My great-great-grandfather was a Codetalker, and just to have that, I guess, history behind it just makes me feel even more proud to be Native American, to be Hopi, that I have some of that in my blood, that I have all this history, and today Native Americans are still making history. There is a woman in Congress in Washington, D.C., the first Native American ever to do that. So, and even in sports, we had Jim Thorpe, one of the widely known Native American, as well as Louis Pomeoma, who was a cross-country runner who ran in the Olympics and ended up winning a medal. So being able to talk up here today about you guys about a little bit of my background is actually somewhat, I guess, in a way of just being able to let you guys know that there is so much history behind Native Americans, and I'm just proud to be up here. I'm proud to be a Native American, being Hopi.